Let's see what's going on.
At the border, President Trump continues to deliver on his promise to make America safe again. The Wall Street Journal captured the Trump effect in a recent article. Border crossings grind to a halt as Trump's tough policies take hold. U.S. Customs and Border Protection recorded its lowest southwest border crossings in history in March, and we're seeing the same successes at our northern border. Here's how the New York Post put it. Northern border sector previously overrun by illegal migrants sees dramatic drop in crossings. We haven't seen anyone since November.
What's up,
end quote. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, just 54 illegal aliens were apprehended in the Swanton sector of our northern border, which stretches more than 300 miles in March. This is mind-boggling, the amount of press briefings we've had in a short period of time. All of this stuff that's been done in the past 4 months. This is crazy. I've never seen nothing like this before. It's just like news on top of news on top of news. This is getting checked. This is getting corrected. This is getting done. It's amazing. A drastic 95% drop from the more than 1,000 border crossings that were caught in March 2024. This is a main hotspot area that recorded more than 80% of all apprehensions along the northern border during the 2024 fiscal year.
What's up, Gabriella?
And new reporting from the Washington Times fully highlights the difference in Joe Biden's disgraceful approach to the border compared to President Trump's. Under Trump, border catch and release has dropped 99.99% from worst Biden month.
Bruh, border trap and release has dropped 99.99%. That's crazy.
You can't get much better than that.
Because, the word is starting to spread throughout all of these countries that, if you go to the United States, you will be deported. Not only are you being deported, like you're going to your homeland and you're going to jail. So all of that, because, people like to show the worst of the United States in different, countries, the medias and stuff like that, because they want to seem like their country is better than America. So they're going to probably be showing things like, these people, people coming there illegally, being locked up, rounded up, going to jail, all of that, to make it seem worse. So people just we not about to go there no more. Then they stopping the benefits. You got Eric Adams talking about no more food vouchers. Because remember, $350 a week in food vouchers, $1,400 a month of food. All of that stuff is stopping. The only one that seems to be really trying to keep all of this illegal immigration going is California's Gavin Newsom. But it seems like a lot of people are starting to come to the table. So, they looking and they watching. They like, nah, we're not about to cross that border. It's too risky.
Statistic in particular.
And you're not really getting any due process. Now, due process is important, right? It's very important. We're going to keep it real. It's important. People need due process. But hey, they getting you up out of here with no due process, some of these people. People don't want to take that risk.
Particular is astounding. Border Patrol agents caught and immediately released 189,604 illegal aliens into the United States in December 2023 at the height of the Biden border crisis. But under President Trump, Border Patrol agents caught and released only 20 illegal aliens into the U.S. in the month of February. Thanks to President Trump, operational control of the border is becoming a reality, and the administration's historic enforcement measures are yielding huge results. Illegal aliens are finally getting the blunt message. If you cross the border illegally, you will be swiftly deported and never return to the United States of America. Efforts to arrest the criminal illegal alien invaders are continuing to ramp up. ICE Chicago arrested a Mexican national convicted of predatory sexual assault of a child in Cook County, Illinois. This week, ICE Denver arrested a Mexican national convicted of sexual assault of a child in Houston County, Texas. ICE Miami arrested a Nicaraguan convicted of aggravated battery in Hillsborough County, Florida. ICE Houston arrested a Salvadorian national.
So it seems like what they're doing in this administration, they're deporting people, but they're making sure they deport people that have other criminal activities attached to their name. So even if it's something as simple as a battery, they get you up out of here. So that way, when the Democrats, because they're trying to save all the illegal immigrants because that's their voting base. If you can, these people are going to no voter ID states and voting. So they're trying to save them, right? It's what's going on. So when they do that, they could be like, okay, well, this person has a assault for this and, alleged grape, You know what I mean? Like, this is like, you know, these people are in jail for this and unaliving people, you know what I mean? So it's like they have more of a ground to like to get people up out of here without the public feeling super sorry for illegal immigrants.
Convicted of attempted sexual assault of a child and escape in Dallas County, Texas. And ICE Chicago arrested a Mexican national convicted of aggravated sexual abuse of a minor in Illinois. Despite the Democrats' insane objections, President Trump will continue to embolden law enforcement officers to arrest dangerous legal alien criminals and keep our communities safe. And also,
they got the arrest. She's standing there and she got like, imagine if you've been in jail and you've got Karoline Leavitt doing a White House press briefing and your picture is right here. Like, that's crazy, bro. Y'all see it like right behind her? That's crazy.
Thanks to President Trump's America First economic approach, investments continue to pour into our country. Swiss pharmaceuticals company announced they will be investing $50 billion in the United States over the next 5 years, creating 12,000 new quality jobs.
See, that was like a big thing, right? Because Trump is saying, like, why is our pharmaceuticals and everything being created in other countries? Like, that don't make no sense. Like, we don't know what they're putting in this stuff and sending here, like, for our citizens that may need and rely on some of that stuff, right? You got people who have diabetes, high blood pressure, all kind of stuff out here, you know, and you don't know what they could be putting in it. Like, it's coming from a different country. That's crazy. Like, the stuff should be coming from America. The flip side of that is, like, if this stuff starts being manufactured and done in America, the price is going to go up. So for, like, elderly people that are already, like, struggling to afford some of this stuff, the price could potentially get higher. But it's still a market, you know, so they can, you know, get their drugs from wherever they want to get them from, really, I guess. You know, you got generic brands, you got all of this stuff, but it is kind of wild that things are being like it shows you the amount of oversight in America. It's like little to none. Like, if you ask me, yeah, we got red tape, we got all that, we got the FDA, we got all that, but the FDA has been so inefficient. RFK is showing us that. Like, look at all of these food dyes that have been like in circulation through all of these food companies. Don't care about you and me. They care about profit. They don't care if the food makes us sick. They don't care. They only, why do you think they've been using Red 40 all of these years? You know what I mean? Red dye number 3 was being used until it was outlawed. They don't care about us. All this stuff is causing us cancers and all of this craziness. And it took RFK to get up in there to say, what was it, yesterday, that he's going to be outlawing like all of them food dyes. Like, I'm not sure if it is effective. A lot of people are trying to say it starts immediately, starts yesterday, but no, from what I was reading, it seems like this is going to be over the course of 2 years, so they can still like make us sick for 2 years, you know, before they have to completely stop, because the people who are producing the food are saying like, oh, well, this is a hardship on us, and how are we supposed to switch up how we make products in such a short time? So they're trying to, from what I was looking at, they wanted to try to give them time to try to find different ways to, you know what I mean, like fix their coloring and stuff like that. But yeah, but some people were saying like it was supposed to start yesterday. I don't know. RFK did make a speech about it, but when I was listening to his speech, he went on about like a whole bunch of other stuff. He didn't say, from what I heard, when he was going to start that definitively. You know, because people have been on him. They've been pressing RFK like, man, you've been saying all of this stuff. Yeah, you doing, you know, speeches on autism and all of that. Yeah, like, that's cool. But what are you going to do with this food that's killing us? And we haven't had any definitive nothing from him yet. And then yesterday we finally got something where he's saying he's going to start outlawing all this stuff. So we'll see. But we are behind the curve. Like, people think United States is so far advanced in all these other countries. And when I went to Europe, no, they are way more advanced to us with certain things. They don't be poisoning their people like us. You know, like some things are going to get through the food supply. It just is what it is. But in America, they allow anything in here. Like, there's zero protections for the citizens, it feels like. FDA be allowing crap that shouldn't even be allowed. So, yeah, I mean, they don't want their citizens over there in Europe, Switzerland, and France sick like us. You know, why you think it's so many people like on like have diabetes, pre-diabetic, all these different problems? It's because of the food. It's like how, like, people can't even afford to pay back their student loans, right? Some people, they can't even afford that. And then they could barely afford insurance. And then they keep getting sick because they can't afford good food, right? The good food is not going to be like at your regular grocer. Like, it's not. You got to go to those boutique type places to get better food. And when you go to the boutique places to get better food, you're going to pay more money. You know what I mean? That's what happens. So it's just like, yo, you can't afford to pay more money for everything, and you just keep getting sick. And the country's not doing anything about it. Because if you're struggling, you got all this medical debt, they don't care. Like, who's going to make money? The government, right? Taxes. They tax the hospitals. Hospitals get exempt with certain things, but hospitals make a ton of money. The government makes a ton of money. This is what it is. You know what I mean? Unless they, whatever, they can write off certain things, loans that they've forgiven and stuff like that. Hospitals can do that. But, all in all, it's a big money scheme. And people are tired of it. RFK stepped in there and he was like, nah, we going to do away with all these, these dyes that is killing us.
Pharmaceuticals also agreed to pay Fujifilm Technologies more than $3 billion over the next decade to help manufacture its medicine.
Exactly. Will in the chat said China McDonald's ain't the same as American McDonald's. Africa won't even touch our stuff. That's bad. Bro, like, people who come here from the Philippines on contracts, like from different jobs and stuff like that, like nursing and all that, they don't even eat our food. Like, they go to their like world stores, you know what I'm saying, that have all of that stuff that from their country. They don't want to eat our food because they don't want to get sick. They want to be here and experience America. They want to try to get, a piece of American pie or whatever. Like, they want to get a home. They want to do all of that stuff here, send money back, whatever. But they don't want to eat our food. And so one of the problems that we were having with export from America, we're not really an exporting type country like China, right? Where a lot of things are, really weighted on export. That's why the tariffs hurt them so bad with different things. But, we were complaining that, China doesn't even want our they don't even want our farmers' food, but they expect us to buy their stuff. Yes, because our food makes people sick. They know that. You know what I mean? Like, people don't want to be sick. Like, other countries don't want to be sick, but America allows. Look at all these scams here, bro. Like, people can call you and try to scam you out of money. There's little you can do about it. Imagine if you an elderly person and somebody calling you, threatening, oh, you gonna lose your home and all these scams going on. Like, America is scam central, bro. So they need to at least the food. Can we make sure we not getting sick?
In the United States. It's a top priority for President Trump to ensure we are producing critical medicines and pharmaceutical drugs right here in America, and that is exactly what we continue to see happen every day. In other news, the Trump administration has announced we will put an end to Joe Biden's illegal student loan bailout attempts. No student loan has been referred to collections since March of 2020. That comes to an end. On May 5th, the Department of Education will...
So this is another thing. This is a big thing right here, right? People are upset because they have to pay back their student loans. Some people just said, forget it. I'm not paying on my student loan no more. I don't care, all of that. And now they got to start paying it back, or they're going to go into collections. They go into collections, what's going to happen. They're going to start getting garnished. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man, because they're going to start garnishing wages if you don't start paying back.
And now they're going to garnish.
Now, if you're up to date, you've been making the minimum payments or whatever, with some people, but you up to date, you don't have to worry about it. But if you just been just ignoring your student loans and not caring, you got to pay that back. Y'all got to think the government put a lot of money out here and people just decided not to pay it back. Other countries, they don't have to worry about stuff like that, but you did sign a contract to where you need to pay, you're going to pay back that student loan. And some people just said, forget it. I'm not paying it back. I don't care. Well, that's about to change. Let me show y'all something real quick.
And now they're going to garnish your wages. Even though I find it hilarious to watch you cry on TikTok, Gunkle Tim is still going to help you out. We still have a teacher shortage. And I think if you enroll now, you can start that public service loan forgiveness program. You're still going to have to make your payments for 10 years. And teach in the schools nobody wants to teach in, and teach the subjects that nobody wants to teach. But it's a whole lot better than them garnishing your wages for the rest of your life.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to talk about liberals having a full-blown freak out over the latest announcement from what's left of the Department of Education, okay? Because President Trump has basically...
But I'm like, I'm two ways about it, right? Like some people, they might have gotten done everything right, went to school, and then, you know, they get out here and they thought that at the time that was the career field to go into, but things change. And then now they can't get a job in that field. Now they're barely making it, and they got the student loan they got to pay back, all of that. So it's like it's a two-side thing to it, you know. But then there's some people that utilize student loans. They get these degrees that don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? They going to school for like Earth, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't know, shout out to Earth, you know what I'm saying? But they going to school for like, you know what I mean? Stuff that don't even like really like bring in like a lot of money. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, man. But then you utilize all those student loans, you know? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Dismantle the Department of Education, and the skeleton of the Department of Education is saying that, hey, all of you people who...
Another thing is, like, people don't understand, like, wasn't it around like COVID? Trump actually did the deferment thing, like he tried to like pause like payments and all of that in the beginning. And then Joe Biden, he went ahead and he extended everything, right? So when he extended it, people got it in their mind that Joe Biden was the one that was trying to help them with their student loans, and he started all of that. And he's, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's the one that put it in long-term deferment and all, like, no, like he extended it, but Trump was the one that tried to help them in the beginning. But people just feel like, you know, and people gonna do what people do. People get used to certain things, right? So they got used to not trying to get the money up to figure out how to pay the student loan. And now he's like, you had long enough. It's time to start paying up, you know?
Stop paying your student loans during the Biden administration, because Biden basically made it so people didn't have to pay on their student loans, while also at the same time trying to forgive student loan debt, even though his party admitted he doesn't have the power to do that.
I see you hitting 100. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Double tap the screen if you can.
Right. So yeah, a lot of people had stopped paying their student loans, and they thought that, hey, well, I guess I don't have to pay it back. However, the Trump administration is delivering a reality check. They're saying, no, you actually do have to start paying it back. In fact, there's going to be involuntary collection of defaulted student loan debt to resume, the Department of Education says. So let's read here. The Education Department said Monday it will be restarting involuntary repayment of federal student loans that are in default. So basically, if you stop paying your student loans and you went into default, the government is coming for the money, right? They're coming for the money. The payments were paused during President Donald Trump's first term in 2020 as a response to the COVID pandemic. Quote, beginning May 5th, the department will begin involuntary collection through the Treasury Department's offset program, which withholds payments from the government, including tax refunds, federal salaries, and other benefits from people with past due debts to the government, the department said in a statement. Wages will be garnished following a 30-day warning. It added an estimated 5.3 million borrowers are in default and their federal student loans, though the department said that number could reach 10 million in a few months. Repayment will be administered by the Treasury Department, and affected borrowers will get notices in the next 2 weeks, the department said in a statement. Yeah, so with that being said, I want to go ahead and play a couple news clips so you guys get a better understanding of what's happening here. Take a look.
In other news, the Trump administration has announced we will put an end to Joe Biden's illegal student loan bailout attempts. No student loan has been referred to collection since March of 2020. That comes to an end. On May 5th, the Department of Education will resume involuntary collections for borrowers with defaulted federal student loans. The student loan portfolio controlled by the federal government is nearly $1.6 trillion. But fewer than
$1.6 trillion that could be collected if people started paying their loans.
4 out of 10 borrowers.
Y'all gotta like realize we got $36 trillion in debt. Like, they got to try to figure out how to get that down.
Are in repayment. This is unsustainable, unfair, and a huge liability for American taxpayers. Debt cannot be wiped away. It just ends up getting transferred to others. So why should Americans who didn't go to college or went to college and responsibly paid back their loans pay for the student loans of other Americans? The Trump administration will never force taxpayers to pay student loan debts that don't belong to them. Student loan borrowers need clarity, and we're finally giving it to them. Borrowers will now be clearly expected to repay their loans, and those who default on their loan obligations will face involuntary collections. The government can and will collect defaulted federal student.
So it's right now it's 36,762,286,000,000. Like, this is crazy. Our debt is crazy, bro.
Loan debt by withholding money from borrowers, tax refunds, federal
and tax revenue. We got 5.1 trillion in tax revenue.
Pensions, and even their wages. America is $36 trillion in debt. We must get our fiscal house in order and restore common sense to our country. If you take out a loan, you have to pay it back. It's very simple. President Trump will not kick the can down the road anymore.
Well, the Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, has announced plans to claw back the $188 billion in student loan forgiveness granted under Joe Biden. In an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, she writes, quote, debt doesn't go away. It gets transferred to others. If borrowers don't pay their debts to the government, taxpayers do. America's Newsroom co-anchor and the 5 co-hosts, Dana Perino, one of those people, also a taxpayer, joins us right now.
Yes, believe me, taxpayer.
Well, remember when this all happened, it looked like Joe Biden was trying to buy the votes of young people who had outstanding student loans. Didn't work.
It didn't work.
But it cost all of us.
So it was a COVID era policy. It's time for it to go away.
Right.
But she announced yesterday, and in the Wall Street Journal piece today that I thought was very good, is that the gravy train is over. And also remember, it was Nancy Pelosi who said, Joe Biden doesn't have the legal authority to do this. They tried to do it anyway. The courts kept pushing it back. So they had false hopes, false promises to people. And I understand the student loan debt can be a burden. It doesn't mean that the system shouldn't be changed or that the interest rate couldn't be lowered. But they are going to have to pay it back. Nobody helps somebody that bought an F-150 as a plumber pay that bill.
Right.
And none of us should have to. They pay their bills. Everyone should pay their bills. It doesn't mean the system can't be reformed.
Here's what she writes.
I like how she said that. It doesn't mean that the system can't be reformed. Dang. She is fine. I ain't gonna even lie.
I have another hard truth for the institutions that made empty promises to students while pocketing their loan dollars. Colleges and universities call themselves nonprofits, but for years they have profited massively off the federal subsidy of loans, hiking tuition and piling up billion-dollar endowments while students graduate 6 figures.
I'm about to get out of here because the likes is slowing down. Shout out to everybody.
In the red.
Right. So more truth in advertising is good. Better decision making is also good. The other thing that she says is that they have set up more help to help figure out a way so that the payment can fit your budget. That has to come true. They have to be able to answer the phone and get answers for that. Hopefully that will work out. She's also using artificial intelligence to help make that happen.
No kidding. Yeah. Call somebody. All right. Listen, this is going to be the number one.
Interesting.
Now, the Education Department made that announcement Monday, saying they could start collecting loan money starting May 5th. That's in less than 2 weeks. The involuntary collection will be done through the Treasury Department.
May 5th? Yo, that's fast.
Offset program that pulls back delinquent debts by withholding payments such as tax refunds, federal salaries, and Social Security benefits. More than 5 million borrowers are in default, and 4 million more could be in the same position in a few months. Less than 40% of borrowers are current on their student loan payments, according to the department. So what's next? You'll receive an email informing you of the next steps to take and urging everyone to look into their repayment options.
$200,000 in student loan debt. Did y'all see that?
What's next? You'll receive an email informing you.
Bruh. Balance 230,000, bro. Like, what? That's a house. Yo, bruh. Can y'all imagine like going to medical school or something, and this is your debt, 230 grand? Man, I'm telling you, bro, like this country be ripping people off. These school prices, all of it is crazy. And they got endowments, getting all this federal money and all that. Man, get out of here, bro. They be ripping people. This country is a ripoff, bro.
Of the next steps to take and urging everyone to look into their repayment options. Wage garnishing notices will be sent out as early as this summer. Now, if you remember, former President Joe Biden had
and I'm starting to feel like if you go to college, like you a sucker for the banks. Like this is what it feels like, bro. That's crazy. This country is insane. And people think this is the greatest country in the world. This is insane.
To wipe out student loan debt across the country, but eventually the courts ruled that he misled borrowers about his actual authority to be able to take such an action. In the same announcement, the department added there will not be any mass loan forgiveness at any point.
Oh, she kind of thick. I ain't gonna even lie.
In the near future. So again, the next step is you should look for an email, and that will guide you on what your options are. I'm Brianna Boudreaux on that term.
Pay back the money that you borrow, right? I mean, come on. Like, this is like basic stuff. But liberals, right, they're upset, especially the so-called most educated demographic in this country, aka the most indoctrinated demographic in this country. Yeah, they're very upset about President Trump, the Trump administration, the education department potentially garnishing their checks to force them to pay back their student loans that they defaulted on. Take a look.
So now they're resuming involuntary collections on student loans. All that time that the loans were frozen, that was the time where
when the loans were frozen, you should have been using that as an opportunity to start paying down some of the loans without worrying about interest. You see what I'm saying? You don't just think it's gonna go away. That was I feel like that was one of the biggest helps, because you don't have to worry about interest, right? You just start paying into it. And then by the time it that stops, you know what I mean? Then you done paid down a whole bunch of it.
Hackers needed to get into the
student loans, depending on if you get it through a private company or the government, they accrue interest daily. On the whole thing. So that was an opportunity to start knocking it down.
System and erase all of the student loans, genuinely, because how are they going to be dismantling the Department of Education, but they want everyone to pay back their student loans, but you're dismantling.
So what this dude just think you gonna get free money?
The whole system that the student loans are in. But we're not going to get rid of those student loans. You're still going to have to pay them. Of course, they're going to make everyone pay their student loans, even if they actually got rid of the Department of Education fully. Of course, they're still going to want that money. It's just actually fucking diabolical.
So they're saying they're going to start garnishing wages for student loans. Was adulthood this scary for our parents?
I don't mean to laugh. Yo, you gotta pay back. You gotta pay back your debt, man. It's what it is in this country. Somebody, Jack Brown said, "My bad. Most people I see with a U at the end are from Australia, not
Or is this
Xavier McLeod said you just have to be proactive about it. You gotta start paying it down. I had a student loan. I had to pay it down, and I did utilize when they started stopping the interest and all. I paid it down. I got it. It's almost done. I think I got one more payment, and I'm done.
Is this a unbelievably scary time, or adulthood been this?
Now, I know we stand as tall and strong on not doing a goddamn thing, but in a minute, we finna have to lean forward. They talking about garnishing what? For who? Come May 5th, they talking about garnishing checks for fucking student loans. MAGA, do you see what you have done? Now, it's over 5.
So what did MAGA do? You the one who took out the loan. Well, you took the loan out. Pay it back. We got $36 trillion in debt. Paid the loan back. So that they can continue to help other, the new generations get loans.
5 million people already in debt for student loans. We were protected during Biden run. They're lifting that protection and making us pay. So, I mean, we can, like, you know, switch that direct deposit to checks and just, you know.
And then this TikTok app, which I think is anti-American. That's why I post on there, like, sparingly. Even though I got a lot of followers on there, I don't really post on there that much. It's anti-American. They push anti-American propaganda. They tell you to do anti-American things. So she's trying, you know, like any other platform that would be telling you to like how to like circumvent and like defraud the government like that, you wouldn't be able to do that. On TikTok, you can. So, but this lady is trying to say, okay, well, turn off your direct deposit, switch things over to checks. She don't understand how garnishment works. Like garnishment is they take the money from your employer. It don't matter whether or not you switch direct deposit and all of that. They're going to get their money. You just causing like random problems for yourself. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like they going to get their money one way or another. They going to your employer.
I mean, because they don't have to come get it in blood. Pick back up the winter.
When the collections agency start taking y'all to court, yo, the courts is going to be flooded. Yo.
Boots. I know it's springtime, but it is what it is. Taking out y'all poor decisions that y'all made going into this 2025 project on us, and now just trying to make us go down with you. Because the terrorists off the bat was the horrible move. The Pope didn't pass from seeing JD, but y'all paying Katie $60 million to go motherfucking lie about being in space. Y'all love a good distraction before the bullshit.
Well, this lady is insane.
Garnish this cash. They're gonna have to go get it back in blood. They done got us. They done got us. This time, y'all woke me up.
Hey, y'all, she said this time y'all done woke me up. Now you want to pay attention to politics?
Everything else was a joke, but this here, you got me this time.
I know as the 92%, we're supposed to just not do nothing. We're just supposed to sit back and let Trump supporters find out. But like, when are we gonna step in exactly? Because now they finna garnish our checks.
She is funny, bruh. Yo, she is hilarious, bruh. Hold on. I gotta see that one again.
No, as the 92%, we're supposed to just not do nothing. We're just supposed to sit back and let Trump supporters find out. But like, when are we gonna step in exactly? Because now they finna garnish our checks. They finna garnish our checks for these student loans. So I just want to know, what's the plan? What we finna do? Are we?
I don't mean to laugh, but pay it back. Like if you could get caught up, you ain't gotta worry about this.
Just gonna sit back and not do nothing for real, for real?
That new student loan update, talking about y'all gonna start garnishing wages. Let me tell you something. I left student debt with the higher power a long time.
Yeah, she said she left student debt with the higher power. She is wildin', bro.
Left it with God. Let me tell y'all something. They want to keep us poor so bad. They want to keep us in debt so bad. People can barely afford mortgages, rent, any other bills that they have, barely fucking surviving, and you want to start collecting on a student debt that ain't nobody worried about?
What are we doing? Are we robbing banks? Please tell me before I have to get another job. And this is really pissing me off because I'm engaged, and like, how I'm supposed to pay for a wedding and I gotta pay for student loans? How I'm supposed to buy a house and I have to pay for student loans?
That's another thing, man. Y'all trying to marry, like all y'all dudes out here trying to marry these girls, and girls trying to marry these dudes. Y'all gotta like start figuring out what is the debt. Like we're about to collaborate in a business called a marriage. What is your debt? Because like now their debt's gonna start affecting you. You get into a relationship with somebody and they start getting garnishments, bruh.
loans. It's either you save for a down payment or you pay off all your student loans first. And nobody wants to stay in a high expensive apartment for life. Like, they know exactly what they're doing. And we got to stick together. We got to come up with a plan, because I'm not about to do this.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Liberals, mostly women, upset that they have to pay back money that they borrowed. Wow. Okay, so hard, so tough. Again, I am one of these people that have student loans, and I've been paying my student loans, right? I've been paying my monthly payment, right? That's what I've been doing. And at the end of the day, if I got to pay it back, then you got to pay it back, okay? I don't care what your reason is, okay? I don't care what you're going through. You borrowed the money, okay? You borrowed the money, taxpayers lent you that money, and you have to pay that back, just like everybody
I like how
else,
he
right?
said that. Like, tax, like, people don't understand. They think, oh, it's just government money. No, taxpayer money lent you that money, and people will want their money back from you. I like how he said that, because if people would say it like how he just said that, it would make a lot more sense for some people. I mean, for some people, they just they go say get it back in blood. But that, I mean, it's what it is. Taxpayer money has afforded you the opportunity to be able to go to school. Now, taxpayers want their money back so that they can, like, continue to help other people go to school. I like that.
It's really that simple. It's really that simple. It's a shame that the government has to garnish your check, right? Has to force you to pay back money that you owe, but you owe the money, right? And we can't just forgive it. It can't just go away, because, again, ultimately that becomes a tax on the American people, right? When you say, no, we're just going to forgive debt, right? That's a tax. You've essentially charged the American people. It's not a tax. That was a loan. You need to pay it back, right? So yeah, there are a lot of people who basically defaulted on their loans. They decided, you know what, I'm just not going to pay it back. And now they're going to get a big surprise, right? If they continue to choose not to pay on their loans. So,
they got until May 5th.
Resume involuntary collections for borrowers with defaulted federal student loans. The student loan portfolio controlled by the federal government is nearly $1.6 trillion, but fewer than 4 out of 10 borrowers are in repayment. This is unsustainable, unfair, and a huge liability for American taxpayers. Debt cannot be wiped away. It just ends up getting transferred to others. So why should Americans who didn't go to college?
You know what's about to happen? It's going to be a lot. If you got to Uber places, it's going to be easier to find Ubers, because people are going to be Ubering and doing anything they can to try to pay this loan back. This was going to be happening.
Or went to college and responsibly paid back their loans, paying for the student loans of other Americans. The Trump administration will never force taxpayers to pay student loan debts that don't belong to them. Student loan borrowers need clarity.
I like how she just said that. Like, Trump is not going to force American taxpayers to pay back student loans that don't belong to them. If they don't get this money back, like, they have to figure out a way to get the money back. Right? So Joe Biden's way of figuring out how to get a bunch of money into the government was to hire 80-something thousand IRS agents to come after y'all, us. So, I mean, do you want stuff like that? Or do you want people to just pay back their loans? It's just what it is. So we can keep giving more money to Zelensky and all of these different countries and all of this. No, like, people got to pay back their loans, bro.
And we're finally giving it to them. Borrowers will now be clearly expected to repay their loans, and those who default on their loan obligations will face...
What does buying a Tesla product have to do with any of this? Y'all do know, like, Elon Musk, originally when he started Tesla, like, he borrowed money for Tesla and paid it back early with penalties and interest. He paid it back early. He had a long time to pay back that loan. He paid it back. They're operating without loans right now. Like, what are y'all saying? Like, I was a heavy investor in Tesla and listened to all of the meetings, like the quarterly earnings reports and stuff like that. They didn't have, like, loans out. Like, what Tesla was doing is they would come out with a product, right? Like, oh, we got the Tesla Roadster that's going to come out next year. Get your pre-order, and then you get, like, 2 million people, like, pre-order the Tesla Roadster. It never comes out, right? But that's, like, money that they can use to continue to fund the company. It's what they were doing. They was doing, like, cricket stuff like that. I don't care. They were. And then the Cybertruck. you know, I think it was like they had the pre-orders for like 3 or 4 years or something like that. They didn't come out with the truck for like 3 or 4 years. They finally came out with it, but in the meantime, in the interim, all the reservation money they was able to use for whatever they wanted to use. They didn't need like government money at that point. Like Tesla's not operating on a government contract. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not operating like that.
Involuntary collections. The government can and will collect defaulted federal student loan debt by withholding money from borrowers, tax refunds, federal pensions, and even their wages. America is $36 trillion in debt. We must get our fiscal house in order and restore common sense to our country. If you take out a loan, you have to pay it back. It's very simple. President Trump will not kick the can down the road anymore. Before we open it up to questions today, I want to commend our pool photographer who is in the room with us today. ABC News photojournalist Melissa Young is retiring. 36 trillion, 4 incredible years on the job, covering here at the White House.
I allow a little bit of trolling, but he was doing too much. He got to go.
Melissa, congratulations. You have the largest round of applause I've ever heard in this room. So there's something we can all agree on, and you've had an incredible career here covering the White House. So congratulations to you, and we hope you enjoy retirement. I'm sure you will. And everybody else in the room will be very jealous of you as you're enjoying your rest. All right, let's get to it. We have an individual in our new media seat today. His name is Tim Pool. He's a political commentator and a media entrepreneur with millions of followers, a very big platform. Currently hosts Timcast IRL, a daily news and discussions show, and The Culture War, a weekly podcast exploring cultural and political issues. His programs feature in-depth conversations on topics such as free speech, censorship, identity politics, and societal change, often engaging with a diverse range of guests. He's in Washington today because we are also hosting a local media row across the street in the Eisenhower building, which is a testament to our commitment to bring new voices into the White House to cover the president and this administration. So Tim, why don't you kick us off today?
Yes, many of the news organizations that are represented in this room have marched in lockstep on false narratives, such as the Very Fine People hoax, the Covington smear, and now what's being called the Maryland Man hoax, where an MS-13 gang member adjudicated by 2 different judges, I believe, is just simply being referred to as a Maryland man over and over again. Now, in an effort from the White House to expand access to new companies, you've created this new media seat. So I'm wondering if you can comment on, following this expansion, you've had numerous outlets disparage the companies that you've had sit here, as well as the reporters. I'm wondering if you could comment on the unprofessional behavior, as well as elaborate if there's any plans to expand access to new companies.
Sure. Well, we certainly welcome diverse viewpoints in this.
Hey, Respect VA, I see you in the comments. You know Candace Owens is turning. She's being like super critical of the Republican Party right now. She is turning. Like if you go and you look at like the TikTok, she's like very critical on them right now. So I don't know what her angle is of what she's about to do, but it looks like she's turning, you know, so.
Room, which is one of the reasons
she got super popular being a Republican, and then now she's about to take that popularity and maybe do something else with it. I don't know. But she knows she's already into entertainment. This is what she always wanted to do. So she took her popularity, she went into Hollywood entertainment. This is what she talks about. And then now she's like being critical of the Republican Party that helped her get to where she is.
Have you in here, and there's many new faces in this room in comparison to the previous administrations. We want to welcome all viewpoints into this room. We welcome unbiased journalists who really care about the truth and the facts and the accuracy, and you rightfully pointed out the Maryland Man story, which I, from this podium, when The Atlantic published it on that very first day, I came to this podium and said, this is wrong. The press in this room have this story wrong, and we have seen more and more evidence come to the table that we have had all along. We were always right. The president was always on the right side of this issue to deport this illegal criminal from our community. And it is despicable to see the media continue to refer to this individual as someone who is just a peaceful man living his life in Maryland. This was and always has been an illegal criminal, an MS-13 gang member, and a designated foreign terrorist. And the administration maintains our position to deport these individuals from our communities. So thank you for being here, Tim. It's great to see you. Thank you. Dasha, why don't you kick us off?
Thank you, Karoline.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. I have two questions, one on the Pentagon and another on the economy. You said on Fox News that the entire Pentagon is working against Secretary Hegseth, but the people who were fired were Hegseth's own guys. So how do you square that, and what do you say to concerns that that's bad management?
They were Pentagon employees who leaked against their boss to news agencies in this room. And it's been clear since day one from this administration that we are not going to tolerate individuals.
Dakota Royal says she's just a fence sitter. Appeal to both sides, get twice the views.
Who leak to the mainstream media, particularly when it comes.
You got to understand, like Candace Owens, like per video, she's doing like 1 million views, right? And her videos are pretty long. So she's probably getting like $5,000 a video. So, I mean, I know a YouTuber, she's getting between $3,000 or $5,000 per video that she does. She's just sitting around and just talking. So she's getting $3,000 to $5,000. If she takes a hard stance and just be super one-sided, like, you know, that could hurt views, that could hurt the income. So right now she don't even have to be a lawyer. Plus she's too popular right now to be sitting up in the court, like, you know what I mean? Like, so then she'd have to have security and all of that. So, you know, she probably, the more popular you get, the more problems you have, right? She lives around me. Like, she's got like a big house, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she got like all kind of stuff that, you know what I mean? Like, she got to pay for. You know, then you're gonna need security and all. Like, bro, like, you got to keep bringing the money in. You can't, you know, when you get to a certain point, you got to start making more money, you know. So I don't know, she don't want them views to go away. She know what it is. And then YouTube took her channel, not her channel, but her monetization before. So she went through that, like being super conservative. That can happen to you, you know what I mean? Like, so I remember she took her fan base and she went to Rumble. And then they worked it out with YouTube. She got her monetization back. She came back to YouTube. She don't want to go through that again. We don't know what she had to do in order to get that back. YouTube pays a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, being real, like, they pay pretty good. So especially when she doing them kind of views, like, I've got a TikTok, right? And I could do videos to where I get like over 1 million views. Like, I did one video, I got 3.5 million. Another one I did over 1 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't post that much on there. Because TikTok is like fake, right? Like, it's just, you know, they push a video and then you put out another video and they want you to try to promote it. And I'm not promoting nothing. Like, my people that follow me should be able to just see my video. TikTok not like that. But like with the videos that I did that hit over 1 million, bro, it ain't nowhere near as much as you would get on YouTube. YouTube pays way more. So, you know, yeah, she could utilize all those other platforms like Rumble, and she can say whatever she wants. And people, they don't think, right? She on Twitter, and she gets a lot of traction on Twitter, right? So she posts something, she gets a lot of retweets, she gets a lot of likes, comments, all of that. But YouTube don't pay nothing. I'm sorry, not YouTube, but Twitter. Twitter doesn't pay anything close to any platform. Like, I think it was like 10 million views on Twitter. You know how much my check was from Twitter? Like $31. Nothing. You know, so you might see her super popular on Instagram or Twitter and stuff, but that's not where the money the money is on YouTube. So when, you know, you can't talk about certain things on certain platforms. I don't know what the deal is with YouTube. I thought I couldn't talk about Trump on YouTube. You know what I mean? But I hit YouTube and I asked them. I was straight up. I'm like, yo, am I allowed to talk about Trump? They said, yeah, talk about what you want. You're not violating community guidelines. And that's why I started talking about Trump more. You know, but some things on some platforms you can't talk about. I don't know what it is, but I think she got a scare. She did the Kanye West interview. And, you know, she's super concerned. She don't want to deal with nothing in relation to that no more. She just want to get her money. You know, and you kind of gotta respect it.
Comes to sensitive information, and the Secretary of Defense is doing a tremendous job, and he is bringing monumental change to the Pentagon. And there's a lot of people in this city who reject monumental change, and I think
who's gonna pay Candace Owens $20,000 for a tweet? That's crazy. No, they're not. They would rather pay Twitter to promote the tweet. You're gonna get way more traction paying Twitter $100 versus paying her $20,000 to tweet you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why would you pay her $20,000 to tweet you? That don't even make no sense. So I don't know, man. Like, but She got to be smart with what she doing and how she moving. Like at the end of the day, we gonna keep it real. She a black woman. She out here. She trying to make it. You know what I mean? Like she got to where she at, and she don't want to lose any of it. So she'd rather talk about Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift, all of that, and keep it like that. If she starts taking jabs at like, you gotta look at everything in its totality, right? If she starts taking jabs at President Trump, maybe the amount of people flagging her videos start stopping or slowing down. You know what I mean? So it's things like that, man. She might be thinking about like, yo, like I don't have to go that avenue anymore, be super Republican, super conservative. I've already done what I can to bring as many voters in that I felt could help, but now I can take a step back and like do my own thing for a while.
Frankly,
that's politics is big. Like, you know, this is not even the time to really talk about anything on YouTube, bro. It's 3:53. People at work. This video's got 19,000 views. This is how big politics is. If this was like 7 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock in the, you know what I mean, at like PM, and I'm going live and I'm live for this long, I probably have like 60,000 views. That's how big politics is. You know, so she utilized it to get to where she's at, and it worked. Hafner with the $4.99. He says, "What's happening? What's up?" He said, "Found you through battle rap and have been loving how you cover politics. Keep going. Appreciate you. It's whatever. Like 2025 is. I want to talk about whatever I want to talk about. I could view chase and battle rap and just, you know what I'm saying, do that, but." Like, I want to talk about, like, if a topic comes up in battle rap, entertainment, whatever, I want to be able to talk about it, whatever. I feel like I've done enough work. I put in enough work. I'm entitled to do that. You know, whether or not, even if it's politics, people may not agree with it, whatever. I could do that. I could talk about whatever I want. You know, I don't want to be pigeonholed into anything in 2024. Just whatever I feel like talking about. It's what it is.
That's why we've seen a smear campaign against the Secretary of Defense since the moment that President Trump announced his nomination before the United States Senate. Let me reiterate, the president stands strongly behind Secretary Hegseth in the change that he is bringing.
She went against Trump a couple times. She went against Trump with, I think it was the due process of the person that was mistakenly deported. Like, her and Joe Rogan. It's not just her. Joe Rogan, like, took a stance against Trump on that. Due process is important. It's very important. Even if you're a legal person, like I could get on here and be like, no, they shouldn't get due process because they didn't come here legally. I mean, I could do that. You know what I'm saying? But in all reality, due process is really important. You know, so, I mean, they taking a stance against that, you know, and they're trying to show people like, yo, there is an equilibrium with us. You know, we not, and you know, Joe Rogan, he just got $100 million, his podcasting deals, you know, so he see that money coming in. Like, you don't think he want to grow his fan base? Being ultra conservative is not going to help you after a certain period of time. You want to bring in more fans to generate more interest so you can make more money, you know? So it's just what it is. That's why a lot of times they end up riding the fence with it.
To the Pentagon, and the results that he's achieved thus far speak for themselves.
An FBI investigation into the leaks. The secretary said that these people would be prosecuted. So is the FBI investigating?
You'd have to ask the FBI. You have to ask the Department of Justice on what they plan to do. But certainly we take leaks with the utmost seriously across this administration. You've seen people fired from the Department of Homeland Security. The president has made it clear it's an unacceptable behavior.
On the economy, Caroline, Peter Navarro said that it's perfectly possible to do 90 deals in 90 days. We haven't seen one just yet. How soon might we see a deal, and what evidence can you share that progress is being made in these trade negotiations?
Sure. Well, I spoke to our entire trade team this morning. There is a lot of progress being made. We now have 18 proposals on paper that have been brought to the trade team. Again, these are...
I mean, hey, Kenneth, I like I said, like I think like when you're here illegally, you're not entitled to legal things that Americans are entitled to. But you do need due process so people can figure it out, like who you are, what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of do need that. So like for me, I'm like, you ain't from here, you need to go home. You know what I'm saying? But for the way for the country to continue to be, you know what I mean, like a country that you want to kind of be a part, like you have to have due process. You have to have it. Even if it ties up courts, I know it sucks, but you got to have it.
proposals on paper that countries have proposed to the Trump administration and to our government.
But like, I do feel like the thing I do like about Karoline Leavitt, like when she talks about all of this, she's like, yo, this person is an illegal immigrant. They've been charged with this. They've, you know what I mean? Like they have a history of committing crimes here and they're gone. Like, I like when she's doing it like that, because I think it brings more, because a lot of people, when they get up in age, right, 70s, 80s and stuff like that, you may gain a lot more empathy for people. You've lived life, you know what I'm saying, experienced different things, you have different perspectives. So if you see people just getting rounded up and thrown out, like, you might want to resist that a little bit. And the people who are up in age, believe you me, those are the people that are voting. You know what I mean? Like, they be watching this stuff religiously. So she's got to do that to appeal to the people who are voting, so that they know that they are on the right side of this situation. These people that we getting out of here, they're committing all this domestic violence, they R-wording people, they unaliving people, all of that. Like, these are the people we getting out of here. We keeping our community safer. So like, a lot of elderly people, they can look and be like, okay, well, in this country, I feel like this president is working for our benefit. So I like the way she's putting everything in perspective. She's not just getting up here saying, oh, well, this person been deported, that is what it is. Like, she's like, no, this is what it is. It's a backstory. She had the in the background when she was talking earlier, she had the arrest thing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's I think the way the production of Karoline Leavitt, like when she addresses everybody in the White House briefing, I think it's amazing. And I think it's a lot better than the previous administration. And people can identify with the struggle of America a little bit better when you have her presenting it, because she's very articulate. She doesn't run from questioning. She answers everything that you ask her. And if she doesn't know, she say, it's something that's out of my, realm. This is something that the president has to answer, and she's young. She's like, 27 years old. You know what I mean? She's vital. Like, she's got a lot of energy. You know what I mean? So, and she comes across as a person that believes in what she's doing, or being a part of an administration. Like, she believes in administration, and it comes across good.
You have Secretary Bessent, Secretary Lutnick, Ambassador Greer, NEC Director Hassett, and Peter Navarro, the entire trade team, meeting with 34 countries this week alone. We are moving at Trump speed to ensure these deals are made on behalf of the American worker and the American people. And just yesterday, it seemed to get a little bit lost in the news, and I think it's a disservice to the American public that it did. The Vice President announced terms of reference for a trade deal with India. That is a big deal. We know when we look at the numbers, the monetary
one thing that we got 145% tariff on China. They got tariffs on us. They're trying not to allow our Hollywood movies in China and all of this different thing. Look, what we're doing now is something that should have been done years ago. We've got 75 plus countries coming to the table to negotiate, like, with tariffs, like 0 for 0 tariff, lowering tariffs. We got all of that. Even Europe lowering tariffs on their cars from 10% to 2.5%, trying to do 0 for 0 tariffs on other goods. Like, we have not had this before. So people were still focused on China for, it's 145% tariff on China. Every price is about to go crazy. But like, they did that, and then now the shift is like, oh, we're working with India, we're working with all these other countries, and now they come into the table. And I like how they're putting emphasis on that. So it's another thing that can ease the American mind. Like, yo, we've got other countries we're doing trade deals with. This is a very good thing. They're coming to the table. No, they didn't want to work with us before. Now they're working with us, and it just brings, like, so if you're investing into the market and you hearing how she talks, it's like, okay, well, this could be a great thing for America in the long run with some of the deals that's going on.
Trade barriers.
And we don't have to just rely on China for everything.
And the non-monetary trade barriers from India, they have been ripping off the United States and American workers for a very long time. So the fact that the Vice President, with Prime Minister Modi, on that trip in India, announced these terms of reference, which is essentially a framework to move the ball forward, to sign a good trade deal between our two nations, is great progress. And it speaks to the work ethic and the real labor that's being put into this effort by the President's trade team. Sure. Go ahead.
the theme.
But I got to get up out of here now. We got 23,000 views. Shout out to everybody hitting the hearts. I want to shout people out in the chat. Shout out to Darren Chandler for coming in here. Shout out to Be Like Water 007, Todd McClellan. Shout out to Humberto, Kona, Alice, you know what I mean, Kenneth, Bobbier, shout out to you. Shout out to everybody. Caitlin actually coming in here. Flowers, Alice, I think I said you, Sparky Kessler. Shout out to the donations from Hefner, Q Hefner. Shout out to Respect VA, you know what I'm saying, Air Life, appreciate y'all. Will, I see you. But I'm out.